Is your body ready?
My body is ready. Larcenauts is pretty good.
Oh no! Larcenauts stole the spotlight when it released on Quest and PC VR yesterday. Here's our review in progress straight from the VR Gamescast.
I have a review in progress up of Larcenauts because I have only played about 2 to 3 hours of Larcenauts so far, and that's been in controlled game sessions with the developers or with bots. I think this game has huge potential, and there are things to work out in these early days. So if you don't know what Larcenauts is, it's a class-based, team-based shooter, 6v6, kind of like Overwatch, or is it Valorant? Is that what the other one's called? Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, and when you have your different, very unique individual classes that are all kind of hero-ish types, they're all completely different characters, completely different races and everything like that. It's very cool. And then they fill in some of your standard stuff like a medic, but they also, have their own kind of unique things like VOD we've been seeing on the screen just now is a brawler with elasticated arms who just pummels people as he goes through. Basically, what I've played so far is I've managed to unlock maybe 3 or 4 of the characters. I've started to level up those characters and start getting, more hit points and more weapon damage and stuff like that as you level them up individually. And it's interesting. I will talk about, let's say, the first 4 characters you unlock. So you have a really good kind of all-rounder character that you start out with first called Camilla or Kalima. Kalima, I think it is.
Kalima, yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And she's a great all-rounder. She has this shotgun that you can see kind of on the screen now, and then she's got like a submachine gun. She can dash, so she can get in and out of fights very, very quickly. And she has like this really cool like area of effect where she can increase the teammates' rate of fire or people playing their rate of fire, so that you can do more damage over a shorter amount of time. But she's an all-rounder, and she's not, super. If she's not backed up by the right kind of teammates, people are going to come in that are heavy hitters and take her out pretty easily. So then you could have a medic, and a medic has a ray gun. The medic's called Chi, and actually the ray gun that heals the character is actually very, very powerful, to the point where it's going to change the dynamics of a battle. If you see a medic in a fight, that is the first person you want to go for, because the healing gun is so powerful that you're probably not going to be able to kill anyone else on the team while they're around. So that completely changes the dynamics. So then, of course, if you've got a healer in battle and you know that another team is going to try and kill them straight away because they won't be able to kill anyone else without them, you could get someone like Foul, who we're seeing on the screen here, who sets up his own energy shields, like either a personalized one or one in an area. And you could use that to deploy it in front of the medic, who could then fire through the gun, through the shields, to heavy hitters on the front lines like Kalima, to deal the serious damage. And I'm just talking about 3 of the first 4 characters you unlock there. I'm talking about the fact I've only played for 2 hours, and I'm already getting these really cool strategies forming in my head for team-based play. So the game clearly has lots of depth and texture to it. And there are some really great innovations in these classes. Like, for example, there's a sniper class who he can cloak, but he can also set cloaked traps, like bear traps. So if he's going to get up in the sniping nest that's in basically every map, has an area that will be designed for him, he can make sure that he's covered from behind, and that any enemies that might want to try and sneak up on him are accidentally going to walk into that. And it's those those cool new ideas that I think are really, really fresh and intelligent. And they tell me that Larcenauts has legs. It's not going to be a game that gets abandoned 6 months down the line, like UploadVR showcase podcast mainstay Frostpoint. We talk about it all the time. Rest in peace.
Love you, my boy. Rest in peace.
Yeah. Having said that, it's early days, and a lot of my issues right now are to do with stuff that I think will probably actually be fixed, hopefully pretty soon. So I'm going to bring up, I think I've got it here. Yeah, I'm going to bring up the roadmap. I say it speaks to the fact that the game maybe could have used a few more weeks or months or whatever. That the start of the roadmap is all of this. It's kind of stuff that you'd actually kind of hope was in the game from day one. So like Immersive Sprint, for example, what you have in the game right now, and Immersive Sprint is coming very, very soon, and I've actually tried it in the build I have. But the current sprint option is you click in the stick and your gun disappears, and then at the bottom of the screen you see your hands moving like that as a running thing. You know, if you've played Yeah, if you've played Solaris, you'll be familiar with stuff like this. That just doesn't work, doesn't feel very, very good to me, and I think to a lot of people, because, you know, when we did the Q&A with Greg Corman earlier in the month, he was sitting here and a lot of people were asking how like sprinting and how reloading and everything like that worked. So like you're saying, Andrew, yeah, it still is reload animations, and the reload animations aren't great in a VR game because you press a button and you watch like a character like spin their gun to reload it or whatever, and you're like, that feels weird in VR. But it's here, it's up here. Manual reload is there. Something to do with that is coming. So a lot of the problems I have with it right now aren't necessarily to do with level design and things like that. I think all of that stuff is very, very polished. And I still have 5 other character classes to unlock, so it's going to be a little while before I manage to get the full review up. And I might find, you know, more holes in the design or something like that as I keep playing. But right now, my main issue is that we're not launching here, essentially, at the end of the day. These are all things I wanted in the game. And they will, depending on how quickly Impulse Gear gets through all of this, they will have an impact on how big they can grow this community from the start. I think they really have to get out the door and get at least to like the manual reload part very, very quickly, I think. Private lobbies, obviously, very important part of an online game. People always want that. It's coming, but it's not directly involved with the gameplay. Immersive playlist, I'm not entirely sure what that means, but I assume it might mean that if you're using some of these options, it might put you there, because it is a very different type of gameplay experience. So I'm encouraged by it. Adam, you say $30 for early access, and yeah, I guess that's kind of true. But at the same time, it's all the content is there. 4 maps, 8 specialists. That's all there. It's just the tweaking of the actual game itself. And in this day and age, that's kind of what you expect with this kind of like big release, right? Like the most problematic of these things for me is the immersive sprint, because I don't like the kind of hand option they've got going on right now, and that is getting solved very, very, very soon. So don't let that weigh too much on it. The reload is an annoying thing, but it's not as annoying as the sprint in my mind, and that's the one that's getting fixed first. I don't know if I would say it feels early access. I feel like it feels like a good polished online shooter that's just missing those last 1 or 2 bits, not actual, you know, more maps and more modes. I think it's worth $30 personally. So, and again, I'm talking a bit reviewish here. I've only played it for 2 hours. I've only unlocked just about half of the characters. So we're going to come back with a definitive, is it worth $30 at another point. But I'm very encouraged with what I played so far personally.
That was our review in progress of Larcenauts, out now on Quest and PC VR. Check out our full review in the days to come over at UploadVR.com, and tune in every Thursday for the VR Gamescast.